CoastLife, we never want to think about those moments when there's been damage to our homes, but that is where insurance comes in and why it's so important. And I know it can be a little confusing, but we're going to kind of break things down step by step for you and let you know a little bit about your options and some of that coverage and what all that means. That's why we've got Hunter Emory, owner with the Emory, part of State Farm. You guys are your own agency.
Yes.
And I think we should start really with why it's so important that you guys are locally based, locally owned, and how you support the community.
I appreciate first being here today to speak with you guys and get this opportunity to talk to our viewers. Being a local agency means we're tied to the community, means we're involved, we have deep roots in this community. And that means for all State Farm agents. We are specifically located in Milford and Georgetown, Delaware, and over the last 13 years, we've made it our mission to be able to support our community and grow and cause our community to thrive. As long as our community is thriving, we're going to thrive too as a business. So it's about lifting all boats out there and getting that lift for everybody. So that's our big supporting factor and why we put so much money back into the community through different nonprofit organizations, through our local school district, through our local sports activities, all supporting, just got done Little League.
Oh,
so, yeah, that's
big Little League season.
Oh man, it's the best.
It's so cute.
So one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was sort of the planning ahead a little bit, if you will, like making sure that you're covered or you're putting enough aside in case you need to do home repairs, whatever it might be, if something's gone wrong with the house. What do our viewers need to understand about how to plan ahead?
Okay, two things I always point to first. Your estimated replacement cost on the value of your home.
Yeah.
So when you think about your home value, there's three things a lot of times that viewers will think of. They'll think of the value of the home if they were to sell that house. Well, one house that might be worth something in Rehoboth Beach is going to be worth a lot different number in, let's say, Bridgeville, right? So we can't look at the real estate value. We got to look at what it's going to cost to rebuild that home. So that's the estimated replacement cost. That's the second I always talk about. And the third is the assessed value. Assessed values are tax values. We've seen that recently go up. They go hand in hand now with real estate values. So you don't want to focus on real estate values or assessed values. Focus on estimated replacement costs. That's what it's going to cost to rebuild that home to put you back in the same spot you were before that loss. That's the cost of materials, the cost of labor. We use a software program that allows us to figure that number out. Unfortunately, what we've seen is inflation has gone dramatically up over the last couple of years. Now we have the situation potentially with the tariffs too, playing a role in that. So when I have an insured who sits down with me to review their policies, let's say for instance that home costs $500,000 on paper to rebuild. When we really dig into the details, it's $750,000, $800,000 now to rebuild that home. So that's the number one thing we always look at for them.
And so this goes into how much coverage you need then, what you need to have so that you're able, if the worst happens, to rebuild that home?
Exactly, because think about insurance as a contract. It's an agreement between you and the insurance provider, and we're agreeing to pay X to rebuild that house for you. If it comes in over that, you're on the hook for everything else.
Right.
That's out of pocket. And that can be a significant number for a lot of policyholders. So it's really important to sit down and review that with your local State Farm agent. That's the whole idea of having a local agent. It's not a 1-800 number. It's going in and meeting with your local agent and their staff, who are also all local folks, to review their policy to make sure you're in the right place. Because if there was a fire and you had a loss, we're going to be there on the scene.
How often should folks touch base with their insurance person? Is this something that you do once a year, once every 5 years? You know, how often do you think people should check in so that they know that they're taken care of?
Great question. I always ask every 2 years. Every 2 to 3 years, sit down, let's review it. Every year you're going to get something in the mail with your renewal on your home insurance. And it's going to say, hey, look, here's what we have your home insured for. Has anything changed? Have you done any updates to your home? But every 2 to 3 years would be best to sit down with us and review that, or even just calling. You can do it right over the phone with us. We'll go through the whole thing. It's a very convenient, very simple process. We also do it by email. That's the number one thing. Second thing you always have to look at is your deductible, because that's your out-of-pocket expense. That's the agreement you saying, this is what I'm willing to pay to help with this repair. If you can afford to go with a higher deductible, and you have the cash on hand, go for it. It's going to save you a lot of money on the cost of your insurance. However, you're in a situation which you can't, take a lower deductible to be able to be prepared for the fact that you're probably going to pay out this amount of money and everything else is going to be taken care of by the insurance company, as long as it's within our contractual bounds to take care of it for you.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any other sort of stories that folks can relate to? I mean, I know there's been an uptick sort of in tornadoes that have actually done some damage to homes here in Delaware. I know hurricane season officially on paper has started, even though we tend to see those bigger storms in the fall.
Right.
How have you kind of stepped in and helped out the community?
Yeah, so one example is, unfortunately, we went to that event 2 or 3, I think it was 3 years ago now, in Greenwood.
Yeah.
We had a total of 8 homes that had total loss. Lost everything from that storm. And when we started digging through and going through the policies, it takes a long time to get a home rebuilt.
Yes.
It's a strenuous, long process to go through that. Lucky for our State Farm customers, we were able to help them and get those homes rebuilt. But we're looking at some of those homes took us 1.5 years. It's really important to understand that this isn't going to happen overnight. This is going to be a long-term process. Now, the great thing about your insurance policy, though, and what we have on our plans that we work with our policyholders on, is we're going to put you in a place, either a rental property or a hotel, till that home is rebuilt, and not some fly-by-night location. It's going to be something decent, because it's going to be a long-term process to do that. And the same thing applies for all your belongings. We have to rebuy everything for you, all the way down to spoons and knives. And it takes a while to get all that stuff together. But we're there with the step-by-step process through our claims adjusters and the local office to work with you on, this is the items you can purchase, go out and buy what you need. We'll cut a check right at the scene, over $10,000 usually, if we have a significant loss like that. That's one thing we noticed with the Greenwood experience. That's the largest tornado we've had in this area. The weather is changing dramatically in Sussex and Lower Kent County, and the whole Eastern Shore. We haven't experienced a big hurricane in a long time, and we're due for one. So I think it's vital to sit down, review your policies, and realize one thing is always very important for all our viewers to understand. Your home insurance policy does not cover flood. So we do not cover that on the plan. No insurance company covers flood inside the home insurance plan. It's a separate line item policy.
Right.
Where we're at with all this water, you know, it's a situation, if you have water gets in your crawl space, or you have a storm surge, or even overabundance of rain, like happened in Houston 4 years ago, flood insurance is the only thing that's going to cover that. And if you don't have a policy on hand, you're going to be out of luck.
Wow.
And that's why it's so important to make sure you know where
Your
you
options.
live in an area, how at risk you might be for those things. And then even as you were talking about things changing, kind of trying to take a future look at where it might be down the road too.
Exactly.
So you might want to be protected and have that sort of flood insurance just in case.
Just in case. And contact your local office. Any of your concerns you have about that type of thing, or want to discuss it, even our office, give us a call. We work with policyholders who aren't even insured all the time to make sure we're advocates and advise them on the right direction to go for this.
Yeah, so for folks who are, maybe ready to sit down and have some of those conversations, whether it's check in with you guys or, maybe start a policy with you guys, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so they can reach us at 302-855-2100. They can visit our website, savewithhunter.com.
Easy.
I like a nice, easy website to remember, Save with Hunter.
Savewithhunter.com. Or just stop by. We have a location in Georgetown, right on West Market Street, and then one on the highway in Milford, right there by Subway.
Fantastic. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for coming in today and breaking down some of that big insurance, scary information into more bite-sized, digestible pieces for us.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Coming up on CoastLife, though, we do still have a little bit more to get to, some more yapping to do when we get back.